A blessed Sabbath to you all in the four corners of the earth. I'd like to greet you all in the name of Christ, and I'm wishing you all a blessed Sabbath. So let's meet again in this Sabbath to unite with the loftiest of studies to prepare for the kingdom, which I termed the third stage for us to inherit the kingdom. How are we going to inherit the kingdom? It's in three phases. We saw the first phase, and we saw the second phase, and now today we are on the third phase. If you are behind in those phases, go back to the videos that we have done in these previous Sabbaths. Then you find all the steps are there until the third phase, which is today. So we saw last week that we were told to move out and establish the headquarters in Jerusalem, where Christ left his early Christian church. That's where the headquarters is. Actually, the soil has been made to fit the headquarters. So we only fled when the wilderness, the woman was given eagle's wings to fly into the wilderness. We saw it in Revelation chapter 12 last night. So now we have to continue to see what is it that will commence this kingdom. So we've seen that. How do we return? We saw it last Sabbath by keeping these feasts 3 times a year. One of the feasts we're going to be with Christ in the kingdom. So today we are on the third stage. Which one now is the third stage for establishment? It should be the third and final phase, which we should be expecting for the establishment of the kingdom. The final phase, that final phase is still yet future to us. So we have to expect it, right? So before we go there, let's go to 13 SC, 13 SC 12 space 331, 13 SC 12 space 31, first paragraph. It will give us from the spirit of prophecy what was the utterance about this kingdom. Let's read from that small chapter, right?
The kingdom is going to be established.
That's one thing. The first sentence only should raise an alarm to everyone who is looking forward to the establishment of the kingdom. The first sentence says, the kingdom is going to be established. That is one thing, a sure fact. We have a kingdom which is going to be established. So the kingdom is going to be established. So somebody has to usher the kingdom by making sure, proclaim a loud cry, a midnight cry to those who are sleeping, the 10 virgins who are sleeping, wake up. The kingdom is going to be established. This is what we are hearing from this chapter. Let's read. Let's hear.
Moreover, in Zion and Jerusalem.
Where is this kingdom going to be established? In Zion, in Jerusalem. We have seen it from the scriptures. It's telling us where the kingdom is going to be established. That's why we find those chapters in Isaiah where it says, the voice shall come from Zion. Why? Because the kingdom will be established there. Right?
Moreover, in Zion and Jerusalem, not in Washington or Mount Carmel.
Not anywhere else. But where? In Zion, in Jerusalem. Why? Because that's where the woman fled to outside. Now it's supposed to be back to Zion itself. That's where the kingdom is going to be established. We have been told clearly by this chapter. And what else? Read on.
And many peoples and nations shall flow unto it.
Right?
It will happen just as soon as every man cast away his idols.
As soon as every man cast away his idols. Oh, what are these idols? Some are talking idols who tell you that no, we have to just go to heaven straight without the kingdom. So this is an idol. What God says is in the scriptures. It is written the kingdom is going to be established, and many people will flock. Just as they throw away their talking idols, they will inherit the kingdom. They will go exactly where God wants us to wait for him, for the kingdom. How do we wait for him? By keeping these feasts right there. This is where we will meet him. Go ye out and meet the bride. We saw it on Matthew chapter 25 verse 6. Go ye out. It's a message on its own to go and meet Christ in the place where he's supposed to establish the kingdom. Now let us read. We want now to see if the establishment of the kingdom will be in Zion. So what else do we see? So let's go. This is the step number 3 that we are starting on, because we are now know the area where the kingdom is going to be established. We know exactly. So the step number 3 has to do with that step, with that area, right? Let's read from Dear Kingdom Bound Saints, page 3, right? Page 3, right. What is the third step?
What is the third step in the restoration of the kingdom?
What is the third step? Now, the very first verse has to do with the location of the kingdom. Let's go to Revelation chapter 14, verse 1. To find the third step, we have to dig from these verses, so that we know, is this going to occur right in Zion or in Jerusalem? Right in Jerusalem, where Isaiah says, we will all flock to Jerusalem to learn of God. Is this going to be established in Jerusalem? Revelation chapter 14, verse 1, right?
Verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion,
right?
And with him 144,000.
Why do we see Christ, the lamb, standing on Mount Zion with 144,000? Because you know for sure 144,000 are first fruit. They are not the ones going to be saved only. So where is the rest of the people? It's because it's not yet, the probation has not yet closed. That's why we see a particular group first on Mount Zion, where the kingdom is going to be established with Christ. Why is Christ there? Because he's there because the kingdom has been established. And what day is that? That day is the day of Pentecost, where we are expected to receive the latter rain. This latter rain is done when we are already with the 144,000 with the lamp in Mount Zion. That's why people have to flock there. They flock there to learn from God, from Christ himself. And probation is still going. When probation is still going, we see Christ as a lamb. Why Christ as a lamb? Because he hasn't finished his mediatorial work. The mediatorial work, he is a lamb. Oh, he is pleading. You know, the lamb died for us to plead. He still got a people he's got to stand in for. But the 144,000 have already been saved. Have already been sealed. That's why the sealing starts from the house of God. When it starts from the house of God, who are being sealed? We have been told by Revelation 7 to hold until we seal the 144,000. As what? Let's read from that verse, from Revelation chapter 7, verse 1.
Revelation chapter
Go
7.
up to 4, yes.
Verse 1. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth,
right,
holding the 4 winds of the earth,
right,
that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
right.
And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God.
Why, when these 4 angels are standing on the 4 corners, which is north, south, east, and west, this occurred in 1844. From 1844, these angels have been waiting. Why? Because the third angel's message was proclaimed by Sister White for the sealing of the 144,000. These are the ones that she was shown first. When these angels stepped in, they were about to put these 4 winds. And what are the 4 winds supposed to do? And it's supposed to hit the earth, isn't it? So these 4 angels on the 4 corners of the earth from 1844 have been holding. And when they were holding these winds, there was a prophet proclaiming the judgment of the dead. We saw it. The judgment where Christ entered into the Holy of Holies to start with the judgment of the dead. Now, the people who received the third angel's message, we saw it from the verses before, the scriptures before in Great Controversy, page 637. It tells that the graves were opened, and these people who woke up in the time of trouble, in the time of the special resurrection, are the people who received Sister Ellen White's message and third angel's message. Those who received that message, they wake up in the time of the kingdom. That's what they will do. But who was their teacher? Sister Ellen White. Sister Ellen White, when she started, these four winds were about to blow. But what was the commission? I saw another angel. Why? Coming from the east. Where is the east? In Jerusalem, where we're supposed to have the kingdom. So this angel comes to give the seal for us to know about the kingdom message, which is going to be established in Jerusalem. You understand? You now mix these two. Why is the angel coming from the east? So when we are seeing the third angel's message, we are seeing Sister White. So we see also an angel coming from the east, which is, we are seeing a prophet who is preaching the message of going to be established, of the establishment of the kingdom in the east. So we should have also that message. So it means in the time of Sister White, in 1844, the message of the establishment of the kingdom from the east had not been proclaimed. For Sister White just proclaimed the one of changing the Sabbath from Sunday to Sabbath. You understand? So we need an angel who also proclaimed that the kingdom comes in Zion, in Jerusalem. That's the second angel's message, which comes after Sister White, which is the second seal from Sister White. Sister White is the first angel's message on the sealing program. And then the second angel's message comes with the seal, New Jerusalem. Yeah? Did we see it somewhere in any writing? Just go in any writing, page 15. Page 15, yeah?
The 144,000
right
were all sealed
right
and perfectly united.
Right.
On their foreheads was written,
right,
God, New Jerusalem,
right,
and a glorious star containing Jesus' new name.
So it comes in stages. This seal comes in stages. In Revelation 7, we see when the four winds are held. They are held in the time of Sister White in 1844. While she is proclaiming the first seal, God, which is the Sabbath. This is what she proclaimed, the message of the Sabbath. That was God, the first seal, which she saw, the 144,000 now. Finally, will have three. God, New Jerusalem, and a glorious star containing Jesus' new name. This is what she was shown in page 15, and writing page 15. Now, but she was preaching the first seal, which is God, which comes with the third angel's message. That's why when we proclaim the five angels' message, we are saying, Sister White, who is in these three angels, we have William Miller, first angels and second angel's message, and then third angel's message is Sister White. She was proclaiming the first seal, God. But we still have two more angels there who will proclaim the angel coming from the east, New Jerusalem, and the other one who will proclaim the Jesus' new name. So we still have two more seals after Sister White died. That's why if you only end up with Sister White, the three angels' message only, you lack these other two seals, which is New Jerusalem and Jesus' new name, which is the branch. Do you understand? So here, when she sees these three, that's why when we go back to Revelation chapter 7, we see these four angels holding, because these angels were here on the third angel's message, here on these three, about to put the what? To throw the four winds here. But they are told to hold until these other two angels have been put again to the people of God. The message of these other two angels coming from the east. Because you see, the angel coming from the east, go to verse 2. Revelation 7, verse 2.
Verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw another angel
Right.
ascending from the east,
Right.
having the seal of the living God.
Right. So meaning these ones, third angel's message, that's where Sister White is, has already changed the day from Sunday to Sabbath. This one. And the four winds are about to loosen. But Sister White only has one seal. But there's two more seals that are not yet with the people. Do you understand? So these are now the next seal. Sister White told us in early writing, page 15, it says, New Jerusalem. So we are seeing an angel also coming away from the east, which is New Jerusalem. So this angel is bringing the seal, New Jerusalem. Did you get that? This is the sequence of the sealing, right? And what?
Revelation 7.
Revelation 7. I saw
another angel,
right,
ascending from the east.
From the east.
Having the seal
so
of
this
the living
angel is
God.
so carefully not coming from heaven, but from the east.
From the east.
So it's got message from Jerusalem to give the people of God the second seal, which is New Jerusalem. Do you understand? So when we are sealed with only the third angel's message, you only have one, the Sabbath. That's it. But the message of New Jerusalem is the one that makes us know the establishment of the kingdom. That's why this is the one that causes us to keep the feast 3 times a year. Where? In Jerusalem, to prepare for the coming. And it comes together with the name of Christ. Jesus' new name, which is the branch. Right? And what?
And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels,
right,
to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea.
So those 4 angels, which are north, south, east, and west, are being commissioned by this angel coming from the east. Hold, because they were about to close the probation with only one seal, which is God, which is the keeping of the Sabbath. But there's still 2 more seals, right? The seal coming from the east, which is the kingdom going to be established in New Jerusalem. That's the seal which should go in the foreheads of God's people. They were about to close. So it means when you say we have finished third angel's message, we are now waiting to hope in the cloud. You can't hope in the cloud without these two more messages. You need this. That's why you should need 5 angels' messages instead of 3. That's why we saw it in the word to the little flock here. That in Revelation 14, there are not only 3 angels' messages, but there are 5. We will study it now on the 3rd stage. This information comes for the 3rd stage of the establishment of the kingdom. So now he says, hold till we. Why is this angel coming from the east saying till we? Because we means there are more than one. So there are more than one. Yes, of course. There are more than one, there are 2. There are 2 because we still have the seal of New Jerusalem and the seal of Jesus' new name. So there are more than one. That's why he's saying we. Otherwise, if it was only one angel, the angel was going to say, till I have sealed. But he says, till we. There's a we there. We. It's plural. It's not singular. Till we have sealed the... What did the angel say? Verse 2. Hold.
He cried with a loud voice,
right,
to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads.
So these 2 angels are bringing the seal. That's why Sister White was correct in early writing, page 15, that the seal become 3, which is God, New Jerusalem, and the glorious star containing Jesus' new name. So they are correct in saying, till we have sealed. Because up to the 3rd angel's message, it's only one seal on the forehead of God's people. They need 2 more seals to make them 3. Why? Because the type, when they walked out of Egypt, how many strikes were there on the doorposts for the angel to bypass that seal of that time? It was 3 times. if you read it, you will find it in Exodus chapter 12. Go and read it and see how many times was that blood going to be striped on the doorpost. It was 3. That was the type. Now, with us, second, it's an antitype. We have now the sealing process. It's got 3 seals, not 1. Now, how many people are all over the world saying we are in the Church of God with only 1 seal from Ellen White? We only need New Jerusalem and Jesus' new name, according to early writings, page 15, and according to Revelation chapter 3, verse 12. It says 3 seals. It's 3 seals that are supposed to go on the forehead. Right? So, read on and finish there. Mm-hmm.
And I heard the number of them which were sealed.
Right?
And they were sealed in 144,000
Right.
of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
So in Revelation 14, we are seeing the first group which has been sealed from the church. Is it? The first group of the 144,000, they have been sealed from the church, from the house of God. Only 144,000 were the first fruits. And we need now the second fruit. If you go, how many were sealed there on Revelation 7? Till we have sealed the 7th. And they are being sealed as servants, not as saints. You do not have to be sealed to be a saint. They are being empowered. The letter N comes to empower for something. You know, you give power so that we do a special work. So the letter N is not for us to be telling us. When it came, the former N, when it came to the disciples, they were told by God, you will all receive the Holy Spirit so that you are witnesses from Judea to what? To the Gentiles. So they were being empowered by the former rain to do a special work. That's why on the day of Pentecost, 3,000 people were baptized. People were healed. All these miracles happened. They were now at work after receiving the what? The former rain. Now, the latter rain, when it comes, it's not only to qualify us to go to heaven, because we are qualified to go to heaven by receiving the seal. But when we are now sealed on Mount Zion, what are the 144,000 doing? They are receiving the latter rain so that they get empowerment to start a work. We will find it from Sister White. What's the purpose of that seal? We will find it. What chapter are you there?
Revelation 7.
Revelation 7. I want you to see why are these ones sealed. Let's go down at the bottom. Go to AA, Acts of the Apostles by Sister White. Acts of the Apostles, page 591. We want to see why are these people, 144,000, being sealed, right? Want to know more about this group, 144,000. We see this group standing with Christ on Mount Zion. Why?
Where do you want me to start?
Right. Go start from the vision of the prophet.
The vision of the prophet pictures them as standing on Mount Zion.
Right.
Get for holy service.
Right. Wait there. You see, like I said, they're not being sealed to be saints. They are sealed to be
for holy service.
For holy service, to do a work for God, for holy service. Now, so if you are saying they are being sealed to go to heaven, no. That's why they have been sealed as servants. Why are they servants? For holy service. Repeat that sentence.
The vision of the prophet pictures them as standing on Mount Zion.
Right?
Get for holy service.
Now, that's where their work starts. When they are on Mount Zion with the Lamb, to start a holy service. Right? That's why we saw them now going into all the Gentile countries, collecting the second fruits. Now, read on and let's hear.
Clothed in white linen.
Right?
Which is the righteousness of the saints.
Right?
But all who follow the Lamb in heaven must first have followed him on earth.
Right. So why? They are the ones that follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. So what does that statement mean of following the Lamb whithersoever he goeth? It means when this lamp is on a Sabbath, the 144,000 are on a Sabbath.
Amen.
When the lamp is on a new moon, the 144,000 is on a new moon. On a Pentecost, the 144,000 is on a Pentecost. On a Feast of Tabernacle, the 144,000 is on a Feast of Tabernacle. They follow the lamp whithersoever he goes. Like other people, they are not following the lamp. They are following the people. But we follow the lamp. The 144,000 are only marked because their times and the times of the lamp are all together. Did we find that? Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 20. Should we be together? Should it be a sign between us and the lamp? We will follow the lamp on earth like we will be with the lamp in heaven. So that union between us and the lamp is first achieved on earth. So when we are keeping these new moons and when we are keeping this Feast of Tabernacle, it should correlate with what the lamp is doing. That's what is termed follow the lamp whithersoever he goeth. And what?
Ezekiel
20. Go to verse 11.
Verse 11. And I gave them my statutes,
Right?
and shewed them my judgments,
Mm-hmm.
which if a man do,
Right?
he shall even live in them.
We saw, and we are going to see it in the lesson in the afternoon, that the statutes are the feasts. We saw it. We saw it in these statutes that were given. I gave them my statutes. Let's go to Psalm chapter 81. Want to see, only to see whether the statutes are the feasts. Right? Psalm chapter 81, verse 1.
Verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Sing aloud
Right?
unto God our strength.
Right?
Make a joyful noise unto the God of Jacob.
Right?
Take a psalm.
Yeah.
Bring hither the timbrel,
Right?
the pleasant harp with the psaltery.
Right?
Blow up the trumpet in the new moon,
Right?
in the time appointed on our solemn feast day.
Right?
For this was a statute for Israel,
Right.
and the law of the God of Jacob.
So blow the trumpet in the time of the solemn feast or of the statute. So the new moon is a feast, is a statute. Now go back to Ezekiel chapter 20. It's chapter 20 saying, I gave them my statutes. So what was given? It was the new moon, the feast, the Passover, the Tabernacle, Pentecost, Day of Atonement. All that were statutes given together with the Holy Law, the Ten Commandments, which is having also the Sabbath. All that was given to the tribe of Israel, 12 tribes of Israel, for them to be a peculiar nation. So he says, I gave them those. What happened? In verse 11, repeat.
And I gave them my statutes,
Right?
and showed them my
My
judgments,
judgments.
which if a man do,
do,
he shall even live in them.
you see, if a man do is in present tense, meaning in our time, if you do it, you will live by them. What does it mean? You will be blessed. If you live on those, you are blessed. This is what we are refusing the blessings, brethren. If we refuse these statutes or these feasts, we are refusing the blessings coming with them. You understand? So which if a man do, he will live by them. He will prosper. He will be promoted. He will be blessed. Now, and what?
Moreover, I also gave them my
Sabbaths. Do you see? These statutes come with Sabbaths. That's why it is a plural. Sabbaths. I gave them these Sabbaths. Meaning we have the moral law Sabbath, which is the 7-day Sabbath. And also we have these Sabbaths coming with the statutes. I gave them, which if a man do. And moreover, there are these Sabbaths. Right? And what?
Moreover, I gave them my Sabbaths,
Right?
to be a sign
And this now is a sign
between me and them.
God and those who follow the lamp whithersoever he goeth. Did you hear that, brethren? This is a sign. Forever. This is a sign.
That they might know
Right?
that I am the Lord
Right?
that sanctify them.
How do you prove sanctification by God? By keeping these laws. These laws, the 10 Commandments, the statutes, the judgments, they are a sign, or they are something that is termed by revelation. They follow the lamp whithersoever he goeth. Do you understand, brethren? So we should follow the lamp on earth as we are going to still follow the lamp in heaven. Now let's go back to that quotation which I gave you, the vision on Acts of the Apostle, page 591.
The vision of the prophet
Right?
pictures them
Right.
as standing on Mount Zion.
You see now? Uh-huh.
Get for holy service.
Now, after following the Lamb whithersoever he goeth, we now stand with the Lamb on Mount Zion. Good. Now we are qualified to be used to all the world where the loud cry now is. It goes, it feathers now from the house of God, where it was every Sabbath daily. We are imbibing on keep the feast. But only 1,400 have acknowledged that. And what happens next? They are now being sent by the Lamb to go now and evangelize the whole world in a loud cry. Now, you see, when we are talking about the latter end, we are talking about the empowerment of these 144,000 now to start the work of going to all those people who are not in the house of God. You understand? It's after they have been empowered, then it spreads into a loud cry with the same message of these 5 angels' message. Do you understand? The 5 angels. That's why Sister White says, we find it in Spirit of Prophecy, Word to the Little Flock, that these 5 messages are coming straight to the church. It says, when we say the first angel is William Miller who proclaimed the word first, and then the second is William Miller who proclaimed, and the third is William Miller who proclaimed. Same as Revelation 14 verse 14 also. It's another angel. Up to 17, there's 2 more angels in Revelation 14. 2 more messengers, angels. Why are we leaving those? Let's hear from Word to the Little Flock there on page 10.5. Right? Mm-hmm.
All classes
of
Second Advent believers agree
right?
that the angels brought to view in the 6th and 7th verses of this chapter
right
represents the Advent message.
Are we believing that in Revelation chapter 14, verse 6, 7, 8, that we have messages there of the first angel, second angel, third angel coming to the church? Do we believe that? Yes. Now, and what?
To the church and to the world.
And to the world. It should go to the world in the loud cry. Yes.
If this is true,
if that is true,
then all 5 of the angels
in the same chapter, right? Uh-huh.
All 5 of the angels
right?
brought to view in this chapter
right?
represent 5 distinct messages prior to the
Advent. That's why our logo now is 5 angels message. You used to have a logo which was 3 angels coming up to this, but the logo, the full logo, should be 5. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the logo. For those who are going to stand with Christ on Mount Zion as 144,000, they will have this 5 angels message as the logo. Do you understand? Because if you are with this, you are like somebody who has gone up to grade 7. You didn't finish learning. You didn't finish. You need to go up to the degree level. Degree level is the 5 angels. 5 angels messages. You've got a full logo. This is what Word to the Little Flock says. All of them 4. Let's see in Revelation 14, are they really 5 angels messages? Go to verse 6. Right? I heard someone say, tell me more about these 5 angels messages. Revelation 14 has got 5 angels. It doesn't have 3 only. Right. Verse 6.
Verse 6.
Verse 6, yeah.
And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven,
right,
having the seal, so having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them.
You see, this angel is not flying from the east. No, in the midst of heaven. What is so particular with where this angel is coming from? It's in the midst of heaven.
Having the everlasting gospel to
to
preach unto them
right,
that dwell on the earth,
right,
and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people.
In 1831, William Miller was proclaiming the first angel's message. That angel flying from the mid-air, and what?
Saying with a loud voice,
what was he saying?
Fear God,
and
give glory to
him,
give glory to
for
the hour of his judgment.
That's why
is
he
come.
proclaimed that Christ is coming in 1844. After reading from Daniel chapter 8, verse 14, verse 13 and 14, which says, unto 2,300 days the sanctuary shall be cleansed. But the event was not for Christ to come on earth, but Christ was going somewhere, was going into the Holy of Holies. So it was the first angel's message. We believe that. All Advent messages, they believe that. Isn't it? Right.
Saying with a loud voice,
Right.
fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come.
Right.
And worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters.
So in other words, he was giving warning that Christ is coming to judge, isn't it? But it was the investigative judgment which was starting, right? The next one,
Verse
verse 8. What happened to those churches which had run away from dark ages, who start trying to reform? All the 4 churches, we know them. We don't even need to be mentioning things. But they were running away from dark ages. They refused William Miller's message, right? And what did he do?
And there followed another angel,
Right.
saying,
That's the second angel's message.
Babylon is fallen,
But he proclaimed the fall of them, the rejection of that message as Babylon.
is fallen.
He
That great
proclaimed
city.
that they have already fallen. They are the same as the church that they were running away and reforming against. They fell in 1833 when they rejected William Miller's message. We know that. And then what happened on verse 9?
Verse 9.
Verse 9, that's the third angel.
And the third angel followed them,
Right?
saying with a loud voice, if any man
If any man.
worship the beast and his image,
That's Sister White now giving warning that we shouldn't worship the beast. What had the beast done? Changed the times and laws. What did the beast do? Changed. In Daniel chapter 7, it tells us exactly what the beast did. Daniel 7 verse 25 is simple. In good news, it will tell you that the beast changed the religious laws and the festivals. Right? You got it already. Read for us.
verse 25,
Verse 25.
he will speak
Daniel
against the
7, verse
supreme God
spoke against the supreme God.
and oppress God's people.
Oppress God's people.
He will try
Yeah.
to change their religious laws,
Laws, yes.
and festivals.
There's the feasts that we are talking about, which are now giving us the seal coming from Jerusalem. They were changed in the dark ages. The religious feasts and the religious laws, which is the 10 Commandments, which is the Sabbath changed, and also the religious feasts were changed. Now, you can't tell me they were nailed to the cross when they were there in dark ages, well after the cross. So you cannot be funny about that one. But this is the message that Sister White proclaimed. That's why when she started by changing the religious laws, which is the day to Sabbath from Sunday. That's what she did. But what else did the beast change according to Daniel chapter 7, verse 25? Religious feasts and the religious festivals. Now, the religious laws, we have seen Sister White changing the day. But we still need the religious festivals, someone to change. Because when Sister White did change the day, she ran out of control of the people because they started running away from it. They started not even doubting her. So God had to send these 2 boys, A.T. Jones and Wagona, to help out and bring the ceremonial law. And it was outrightly in 1888 rejected. But see, that seal, Sister White said, that was to make sure when people received the message of A.T. Jones and Wagona, Christ was left with 2 more years to come. But they rejected. So that's why we are in the wilderness. 40 years in the wilderness. But we see now on this, the 4th angel coming, which is in Revelation chapter 14. After Sister White in verse 9, go to the next chapter, which is 14 verse 14.
Verse 14.
Revelation 14 verse 14. We see another angel.
And I looked, and behold,
Right?
a white cloud.
Right?
And upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man,
Right?
having on his head a golden crown,
Right?
and in his hand a sharp sickle.
Right?
And another
Now,
angel.
when you see a sickle, it's work that's about to be done. It's not coming to take people to heaven. No, there is a work with the sickle. Now, it's a harvest message which is coming, because all these were prayer messages. But now we are being introduced to the 2 more angels, which are the harvest message. And read on.
And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud.
On the cloud. We know now this message is a mighty angel. We saw the mighty angel coming in Revelation 18. A mighty angel who, when that mighty angel came, joined the 3rd angel message and gave power to the message of the 3rd angel. So this mighty angel is the one that was attempted by A.T. Jones and Wagon. and people were not ready for that message. So this mighty angel comes in our time. So what were these two guys trying to do to the people? They were trying, because people had received the first seal, which is God, which is the Sabbath. But they still needed now to receive the second seal, which is New Jerusalem, which comes with the mighty angel, which God attempted with 80 Johns and Wagona to give us the seal New Jerusalem, which are the ceremonial laws. Do you understand? Or the feasts. When you say ceremonial laws, we are not meaning the killing of the lambs. These lambs they were pointing to the body of Christ. But the times of the feast were not nailed, much as the times of the Sabbath wasn't nailed. The animals were even slaughtered in the Old Testament on the Sabbath. But what was removed was the slaughtering of the lambs. But the Sabbath remained. Or even on the new moon, they were being slaughtered. Go to Numbers 19, you find all this, or Numbers 29, the whole chapter, and read. And see all these days that we are still keeping the Sabbath. They were still having these animals slaughtered on Sabbath. But these animals were removed at the time of the cross. But what remained is the time. The Sabbath remained. And also the feast. The animals were killed in the feast. But these were taken off by the cross. But what remained? The times of the feast. The times are not nailed to the cross. Only what was being performed, these animal sacrifices, is the one that was nailed to the cross. So we should get it clear when people nail both. It's like someone is nailing both the animals. Yes, they were pointing to Christ. And someone starts to nail even the Sabbath. Then you see that person is going crazy now. It's crazy. So the same with the feast and the new moon. You can't nail the time. You take off the sacrifice which was being done, but the time remained. Because the times are the ones that we find in these two more angels coming. Do you understand? So when you nail them, you got nothing there left. You got nothing. Right? So the times of the feast were left. What verse are you?
Revelation 14.
Revelation 14. So you see, the next angel on verse 14, we saw Christ himself with a sickle, but he's going to send a prophet. And that's what we believe, that whatever was the prophet who was sent with the message of the angel flying from the east. And then we see next after the 14, verse 15, there's still another angel. Go to 16 and 17 on the Revelation chapter 14. Yeah?
And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was ripped.
Right?
And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the altar which had power over fire, and he cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle.
You see, it's being thrust again. So there are two more angels. Thrust in that sickle, and what happened?
And gather the clusters of the vine,
right?
For the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe.
So these all messages become 5. So if you end there, it's premature to end it. Don't end it prematurely like that with the 3 angels' message. You need to go to this where the clusters are now harvested. The grapes have been harvested. The barley have harvested. So these are harvest messages. So we see what is coming out, and they all produce 3 seals. That's why went to the little flock, he said, you believe that all the 3 are messages coming to the church. So if that is true, then these other 5 of them all together are messages coming to the church. Yes, of course, they are. If we are to be sealed with 3 seals, because Sister White only gave us 1 seal, which is the Sabbath. But we need New Jerusalem. We need Jesus' new name, which is the branch. We need it. Now, but what did we say about the branch message? Let me see from the Bible itself. What did people say about the branch message? Go to Ezekiel chapter 17. This message of going to the feast, we have seen the feasts are nailed to the cross. But the message of the branch, what did the people say about it? Verse 17. Yeah, verse 17.
Ezekiel 17.
Yeah, Ezekiel 8, verse 17. Right? We want to know what was the response when the branch message was preached? What was the response?
Ezekiel 8, verse 17.
Yeah, it's there in the Bible. The response, how people treat the branch message. If you say the branch, Christ is the branch, how do the people treat that message? Because how do they reject the sealed branch? Now read verse 17.
Then he said unto
Right?
me,
Uh-huh.
Hast thou seen this,
Mhm.
O son of man?
Mhm.
Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here?
Mhm.
For they have filled the land with violence,
Mhm.
and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo,
Mm.
they put the branch to their nose.
Right. So what did they do? They take the branch message and put to their nose and sniff. And what's that branch? Is it true? Is that true? Yes, it is. Where is it? Why is it not being preached? Why is it not in the church? When Christ entered the Holy of Holies. Now, God is saying, what did they do about the branch message? He said they put the branch message to their nostrils and they sniff and say, what? Now, we want finish and want to prove when is Christ called the branch. Right. And now read and finish there. They
Therefore,
put the branch message to their nostrils.
therefore,
Yeah.
will I also deal in fury.
Right.
Mine eye shall not spare.
Right. So when the Ezekiel 9 slaughter comes, because people rejected these three seals, the seal of the feast they rejected by nailing to the cross. The feast, they say, "Oh, turn away, turn away." And the seal of the branch message, or where Christ now is called the branch, they sniff. Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 17. They sniff and put in the nostrils and say, what is it? This is what is happening in the Bible. It has said that it is a seal which people will just sniff, will not accept. Did you understand that? Did you understand? If Christ is really the branch, where is this message? It is in the nostrils. It is in the nostrils. So God is saying, therefore, when he says, slay utterly, old and young in Ezekiel chapter 9, it's because they sniffed at the name branch. They sniffed at it. They did not accept that seal. They said, we will just stay with that. Now, we want to see exactly why would God be cross? Why would God be cross about the name branch, which had been sniffed? It's a seal. He's putting it as a seal. Now let's see in 4:1. Start with Zechariah chapter 6 verse 12. We know Christ. This is Christ's name. The name branch is Christ's name. So why are they sniffing at it? Why? Now read 6 verse 12. Zechariah 6 verse 12. Yeah.
And speak unto him, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying,
Right.
Behold the man,
Right.
whose name is the branch,
Right.
and he shall grow up out of his place.
Did you see there are capital letters there?
And he shall build the
Whether
temple
you are
of God.
reading a Shona Bible, it says Davi in capital letter. Davi. You understand? Now, this man whose name is the branch will what?
Shall grow up out of his place,
Right.
and he shall build the temple of the Lord.
So this temple in Zion, in Jerusalem, will be built by Christ, his name being branch. And what happens next?
Even he shall build the temple of the Lord,
Right?
and he shall bear the glory.
He is the one bearing the glory when he is on Mount Zion, called the branch. Do you understand? And what?
And shall sit and rule
Right.
upon his throne.
In the kingdom, when he is ruling, he's no longer called Christ, my brethren. Let me tell you one thing. Read the prophecies right. He'll be called the branch. He will sit and rule in this kingdom. And what about the 144,000? What are they being called? Branches as well. So if you are talking about the name branch, God has predicted that the house of God will sniff in Ezekiel chapter 8 verse 17, will sniff at the name branch. But I'm not going to sniff. I'll take it upon myself. I'm not going to sniff at it. For the 144,000 should be, that's why the number was so squeezed to just not even 500,000, but not even a third of the 500,000. Nothing. Why? Because the rest sniffed at the name branch. They put it in the nostril and it's a smelling thing to them, but they are sniffing at the seal because Sister White saw 3 seals on the forehead, and the people are sniffing at the seals. They say they took the third angel's message when Sister White preached the Sabbath. Then I said, if you really genuinely took the Sabbath message from Sister White, then you shouldn't be sniffing at these ones. It's 2 more seals. You shouldn't be sniffing. So there's something wrong somewhere. Somewhere there's something wrong. But it says the wicked shall not understand. The wise shall understand. The wicked shall continue wickedly. They continue doing their own way, worshipping their own way, but they will never understand this. Only the wise. If it were possible, even the very elect should have been taken away. But the very elect will never. They want a strict, thus saith the Lord, from the scriptures. That's what the very elect are looking for. You can go and try to fool them, and what? They will remain quiet. They remain quiet. But their decision is in the heart, because they see a thus saith the Lord. They only want, they are comfortable with, not with smooth things, not with fables, but with a thus saith the Lord. That's why the very elect are basing their faith on. But those who base their faith, there are many of them, Don't be marveled with numbers. There are many of them who base their faith on hearsay and smooth things. But I don't base my faith on smooth things. I want what is written in the Bible. The Bible said they will sniff. And I'm saying, when they sniff at the name branch, what was it all about? Right? Then I find in Zechariah chapter 6, verse 12, it says, it is the name of Christ himself, who is called branch. He will sit and rule on the throne in Israel, in Zion, with the 144,000. This is a branch movement. It has expanded to 144,000, following the Lamb, whithersoever he goeth. You understand? Yeah, you can make on your own assumptions and your reasons for rejecting that, but only the 144,000 will take it upon their cross. They will. And read on. And what else does it? You were reading verse what verse? Zechariah 6. Chapter 6. Now we want to find what time we have been told he will be ruling on the throne, and he was the one who is going to have this glory and kingdom and whatever. But let's see from Sister White, what time is Christ called the branch? Now in Great Controversy, page 415, will tell us. And if it is to the law and to the testimony of Sister White, finish. We are finished. What more do you need? You see, you go on asking people, are you sure they are in the book of life? Are you sure? If they are not in the book of life, they'll fool you, obviously. But the only thing that you should base upon your faith is to the law and to the testimony. And you are right with God. Now, listen, in 415, Great Controversy, we want to identify what time Christ is called the branch, because we have been told we will sniff at that name. Now, read on.
The work of Christ as man's intercessor is presented in that beautiful prophecy of Zechariah concerning him, whose name is the branch.
Now, it's his work as man's intercessor. So when he entered in the Holy of Holies in 1844, he started the work called intercession. And what at that time he changed his name from Christ to branch. That's what we are saying from Zechariah chapter 6. It's his name as man. Now when Ezekiel chapter 8 verse 17 says, the house of God will sniff. This is a great abomination to God. They will sniff at the name branch from 1844, from the work of Christ making us holy, interceding for us, to make us holy, to give us the seal. That's why he's giving us 5 angels' message. One, the first, the fourth angel's message is the keeping of the feast. It's New Jerusalem. And the fifth angel's message is the name branch, but it has been predicted already that it's going to be sniffed upon. Now, read on in Ezekiel. We want to understand more about this name. Now, we are talking about the third stage. When he stands on Mount Zion, he's called branch. That's the third stage. Now, read also where you were reading in Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 17.
Then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man?
Right?
Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the
Is
abominations
it a
which they
light
commit
thing when
here?
Christ is actually called the branch from Great Controversy, page 415? And that's his name that he assumed when he entered the Holy of Holies, which is in Zechariah chapter 6, verse 12. But what is happening to those who are receiving the seal of that name, which is in early writing, page 15, which says we received the 3 seals. The 144,000 received the name God, which are the Sabbaths, and New Jerusalem, which is the keeping of the feast. And the name branch, it says the house of God. They sniffed at it. They sniffed it. That's why we have a minute number who accepted the number. The number, the 144,000, the seal. Just a minute, the 144,000 standing with Christ on Mount Zion. Why? They follow the Lamb whithersoever he called. They understood he's called branch. They understood, they kept the feast. That's why in one of the feasts in the day of Pentecost, they are with Christ on Mount Zion, waiting for the latter rain. You understand? So these are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he called. Now read on that chapter and finish. I want you to finish up to verse 18. Yeah.
For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they put the branch to their nose.
Right.
Therefore, will I also deal in fury. Mine eye shall not spare.
Right.
Neither will I have pity. And though they cry in mine ears with a loud voice, yet I will not hear them.
I will not hear them. Why? Because of that abomination only. Because you rejected the seal. You will not hear. Instead, those who sigh and cry of the abomination, Ezekiel chapter 9, say, go and put a mark on those who sigh. What are they saying about? Why are we not keeping the feast? Why are we not assuming the name of Christ when he's making the intercession for us? These are the people who are sighing and crying, and they will receive the seal of God. And when the angel who comes after the one who is sealing is commissioned, go ye utterly and slaughter. It's there in Ezekiel chapter 9. You read the whole chapter and you find the whole chapter will tell you how God will deal with people who reject these seals. Right? Now, let's hear. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 5, verse 1. I want to understand there.
Verse 1.
To those who will receive the seal, the 144,000. God is commissioning what?
Verse 1.
Verse 1.
Now will I sing to my well-beloved,
right,
a song of my beloved touching his vineyard.
Right?
My well-beloved had a vineyard in a very fruitful
Now
hill.
God is talking about how the seals were rejected. So it talks to us. It says the house of God, where the sealing is occurring, is called my well-beloved. That's why people break and say, this is the church of God. This is never sinking on. And God is also saying, yes, it's my beloved. It's my beloved. Right. He says, right, let's hear from this parable. He's talking about the house of God. What is he saying? He says, it's my beloved. It is my beloved. Now read on.
And he fenced it.
Now, to start from verse 1.
Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard.
Listen to the song which God sings to the house of God. Listen to this song for the house of God. Yeah.
My well-beloved.
My well-beloved.
At the vineyard.
Yes.
In a fruitful hill.
Yes.
And
it was a vineyard in a fruitful hill. That's where the headquarters had been established for the house of God. It was a fruitful hill, right? Yeah. When they started in 1844, it was really fruitful. Anyone who knew us as a people, as a Sabbath people, they knew we are waiting for the coming of Christ. It was a fruitful hill, right? And what? Verse 2?
And he fenced it.
He fenced it, the fruitful hill. Did we have a fruit? Yes, we were well established. After we ran away from persecution in Jerusalem, it was a fruitful hill, right? And we fenced it.
And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof.
Right?
And planted it with the choicest vine.
He actually selected the pioneers of the church. They were right people who were inspired with Ellen White. You remember the likes of Ellen White, A.T. Jones and Waggoner, the pioneers. They were all selected as stones. Do you understand?
And planted it with the choicest vine.
Right?
And built a tower in the midst of it.
It was a tower which was known everywhere. When even you are in a plane, you say, I'm a vegetarian. They ask you, are you a Sabbath keeper? Yes, they ask you. They know everywhere. We were so known, well known, planted by God, given all the spirit of prophecy, everything. We were planted the choicest, beloved of God. Listen.
And also made a winepress therein, and he looked that it should bring forth grapes.
Right. So God now has finished fencing the vine and put all the things so that in the well cultivated soil so that the vine grows there and now gives the owner of the vine grapes and fruits. Look at what happened. These are the grapes and fruits which were given. The 3 seals. The 5 angels of Revelation chapter 7, chapter 14, all of them as a message. When they came with William Miller, came with Sister White, came with all these 3 harvest messages, 2 harvest messages. This is what God has done to the vine. Now he is listening. He wants the fruit. He wants the 144,000. He wants them. He wants them to produce the fruit. Listen to what happened.
And also made a winepress therein,
Right.
and he looked that it should bring forth grapes,
Right?
and it brought forth wild grapes.
What happened when they sniffed at the seals? They brought forth wild grapes. Right? Imagine, this is in the Bible. It's the Bible telling you and me what happened there. Right? Listen.
And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem,
Right?
and men of Judah, judge.
Judge. You judge. I've done all my job. God is saying, I've done all my work. I've selected a fruitful vine, which is mine. And I've done everything. The soil, put the best soil, the best stones, selected everything, fenced it, and watered this garden to make a fruitful, for him, vine for him. At the time when he's supposed to give up fruit, he gave wild grapes. Now he says, "Oh, you house of Judah, judge for yourself. What happened? Why did they sniff at the seal?" You ask them right now, they will tell you that the seal is just the Sabbath. Here, Sister White, what about the New Jerusalem? What about the branch message? What happened? They produced wild thorns, wild grapes, not even nice. This is what happened. This is what we are reading from the Bible. This is a prophecy. We have to understand all these prophecies before Christ comes. Read on.
I pray you,
Betwixt
me and my vineyard,
right?
judge.
Judge.
What could have been done more to my vineyard?
What else?
That I have not done in it.
How many? He has even locked down the whole nations so that the fruitful bough, the vine, produce fruit. But instead, they still go on only making sure they are confined to the 3 angels' message and leave these others. He says, what else should I have done? Right, and what?
What could have been done?
What could have been done?
More to my vineyard that I have not done in it.
Right?
Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes.
Right? What
And
should
now-
have been done?
And now, go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard.
Right, let me tell you what I will do then. Because I've wasted my time. This is what he's saying. I've actually wasted my time. Let me tell you what I will do. Listen.
I will take away
Right.
the hedge thereof.
I will remove the hedge. Now, you know what? If you have a fence outside your house there and it's locked, the gate is locked, and someone says, okay, we're going to put it down. The very first thing, you are in fear. You have been left open to risky to anything. Anything can come in. When God removes the hedge, the very first thing is the devil coming in. The devil knows that there's no more protection there. Comes in and start flooding all these abominations and all these because that's why we say, we are told on Revelation 18 that the message on Revelation, it just says come out of it. It's partaken of the wine, the abominable wine, come up of it. They are all. We will read Revelation 18 and see why we have Revelation 18. It's after a time when the vine, God was looking for this vine to produce good grapes. But instead, what are the grapes coming? Wild grapes. Now, read on.
And now go to,
I will tell you.
I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof.
Right?
And it shall be eaten up,
Right?
and break down the wall thereof.
Right?
And it shall be trodden down.
Finish.
And
That's
I will
how-
lay it waste.
I will make sure. I will lay it waste.
It shall not be pruned,
No pruning.
nor digged,
No one will prune those wild
but there
grapes.
shall come up briars and thorns.
Right?
And I will command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it.
Right? No later rain. Did you hear that? Once you do not get these 3 seals, no later rain. He will command the rain not to fall because you refused it. The 3 seals. You went as far as third angel. So God is warning us that if you do not take these 3 seals, and if you do not have these 5 angels' messages, how many times have we been hearing about that? It doesn't make us shocked. So he says, listen, I'm the one going to act. I'll take off the hedge. I'll take off everything. I'll lay it waste. Because they sniffed at the branch. They sniffed at the feast. They sniffed. They ended up there. And that's why they're saying, these harvest messages, they were nailed to the cross. These are harvest messages. They cannot be nailed to the cross. They are for you and I. But there is a reward for not keeping them. God is warning. There is a reward for not keeping. Yeah? For not keeping. He says, I'll lay it waste. Now, read on.
For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel,
Right?
and the men of Judah his pleasant plant.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression. For
For
righteousness,
but behold a cry. Instead of it being sealed with righteousness, behold, there was a cry in the house. We saw it in Ezekiel 9. There's a cry inside. But let's run down it. Ezekiel 9. This is an incident going to happen. And he said, instead, this happened because we rejected the seal. Ezekiel chapter 9. Yeah? Start from verse 4.
Verse 4. And the Lord said unto him,
Right?
Go through the midst of the city,
Right.
through the midst of Jerusalem,
Right.
and set a mark upon
So
the
when
forehead.
this angel, this is the one on Jerusalem. This one. Because Sister White already proclaimed in 1844, the one for the Sabbath. Now, these 2 which are coming, is now coming. We saw the angel with a sharp sickle, which was a mighty angel, which is Christ himself. Coming, is told, go in the house of Israel and set a mark in the house which is being sealed. Judgment begins in the house of God right now. Set a mark to those who what?
Go through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the man that sigh
That sign.
and that cry
Uh-huh.
for all the abominations that be done
But
in the
already
midst
Ezekiel
thereof.
chapter 8 has told us that the abomination, it's just a chapter before that. This one is 9. And chapter 8 is telling that the abomination was, they sniffed at the name of branch. It says so to us. And now saying, okay, go and set a mark to those who have accepted the branch message. Seal them. Why? This is the abomination which was identified by Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 17. He said, the abomination, they sniffed at my name, the branch. So set a mark to those who have accepted it. And then whatever. Let's hear.
And to the others he said, in mine hearing, Go ye after him
After him.
through the city and
Through the
smite.
same city.
Let not your eye spare,
Right?
neither have ye pity.
This is what he's saying on Ezekiel 8. That they are sniffing at my seal. They are sniffing at my name. They sniff at my fists. Go then and set a mark on those who are sighing and crying and saying, this is true, this is true. They are receiving the mark. So we are seeing Christ is the one dressed in linen with the writer's inkwell. But what is in front of us is a prophet. If Christ is to come as an angel to put this seal, then definitely we have a prophet coming to put the seal. Do you understand? So now he said, go after that one who was putting the seal. We have seen the seals that are being put here is one New Jerusalem and Jesus' new name as the branch. But they are sniffing at it. So he says, okay, to the others, follow the one with the writer's inkwell. Slay utterly. Listen, what?
And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare,
Don't spare.
neither ye have ye pity.
Yeah?
Slay utterly, old and young, both maids and little children,
So that's the angel.
and women.
And women.
But
But,
come not near any man upon whom is the mark,
right.
and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient man, which were before the house.
This is what happened. And this is what is in future to us. While the kingdom is starting, this is happening. The harvest message is happening. How are people harvested? By these men following the one in the writer's icon. These are the angels. They are following the sealing program. And those who did not receive, they sniffed at the seals. And he says to these angels, like it was in Egypt, it was an angel who went in to slaughter. Now we don't know. We just see things happening. But we are longing to be saved, all of us, so that we don't go through this slaughter. Right? And what? Mm-hmm.
And he said unto them, defile the house and fill the courts.
It says start with.
Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark.
Right.
And begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house.
You see, who are these ancient men? The ones that were leading that house, and the one they begin with them. Why? They should have made people not to sniff at these seals. They should have obeyed and say to those, because the only thing that is a problem is that we do not have the gifts that God has given us. We have taken them off and we've put creeds instead of the gifts. We know that. It says so in Spirit of Prophecy. But because of that, if we had the gifts, the pastors, the evangelists, the teachers, they could have all set themselves at their divinely appointed work and also allowed the prophets to their divinely appointed work. When God talks, he speaks through prophets, and the prophets will tell the rest of the gifts what God has done, what God has said they should learn. But because we set aside prophets and we only remain with one gift, and we have policies and creeds, what we follow. So we have set aside all the gifts and remained with people who are just conducting people with creeds, with policies and point 1, point 2, point what. This is what they are managing, the people of God. That they are not supposed to manage like that way. They're supposed to manage through a prophet, like it was when it began in 1844. It was the prophet who was inspired with the third angel's message, telling people what to do and what not to do. But we are very far from that system, far away, where we have just made creeds, and these are what we are following. These are our prophets now. Our prophets are creeds. So because of that, we will be taken abreast. That's why all these messages, when they are coming to us, they are so new, and we have never learned them. Because why? We have stepped upon the gift of the Spirit of Prophecy. We have even proclaimed there is no more prophet amongst us. So whatever comes from God will just hit us from elsewhere. If we are so fortunate, we'll just find it somewhere. But if we are not fortunate, we will never get it, because the channel which God uses is the one that we have terminated. And when we terminate that channel, there's nothing coming. Instead, abomination upon abomination from 1844, the fall of Babylon is what we hear. The fall of Babylon. This is the eras entering from 1844. That's why Revelation 18 comes. Now, we are on the step 3. What is the step 3? Step 3 is the establishment of the kingdom. How it is established. We saw by it standing on Mount Zion, the 144,000, standing with Christ as the Lamb. How they were brought there? They were brought by these messages that we have been talking about, the 3 seals that are on their forehead. This is what happened when the establishment of the 3rd stage. It starts with the day where we receive the letter rain, 1844. I mean, not 1844, in 144,000 standing on Mount Zion, in the day of Pentecost. That's the establishment of the 3rd step. Do you understand? So we were only talking about how they came about to be selected to stand with Christ on Mount Zion. It's because of these messages. These are the messages that made these people, the 144,000, follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. And we are seeing them established on Mount Zion. Now, let's open another text which shows the day of Pentecost is surely going to come. In Joel chapter 2, verse 28. 28 to 32.
Verse 28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit
Right.
upon all flesh.
Right?
And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy.
Right.
Your old man shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit.
Right.
And I
So,
will
so have we gone through these days? Have the Spirit been poured already? So why are we talking about hoping in the cloud? We are saying this Spirit is poured when we stand with Christ on Mount Zion, when the kingdom is first established, when we are standing with Christ on Mount Zion. That's the day of Pentecost, when the 144,000 are receiving the latter rain. So this is still an event future to us. And we are seeing our folks talking about entering into the pearly gates in heaven right now. What about these important events? When have they been proclaimed? Have we witnessed the latter rain? We know we witnessed the former rain, but the latter rain, we have never, no history of it, but we want to hope in the cloud. So let's think deeper and start studying with an aim to achieve the goal of entering into the kingdom. Only to study to make arguments or whatever, but let's study with an aim to nourish ourselves so that we are fitted to enter into the pearly gates. So into the kingdom starts first, and then later on we are carried to heaven when we are all unified. But the unifying system is these seals, first in the house of God, and then the 144,000 are sent to the Gentiles to unify them with those in the house of God. When we are all ready, that's when we go to heaven as a people who believe the same thing. We're not going to go to heaven one believing that, one believing that, one believing that. No, there is a unifying process, which is the establishment of the kingdom, which we should all be working towards it. And then when the message goes to the Gentile, to the other people who are not in the house of God, it's easy, because it's got people who are preaching the same thing, going every way and talking about the same thing, and it unifies the whole world, which is supposed to be saved. That's why now on Revelation chapter 7, on Revelation chapter 7, we saw the 144,000 being sealed. In 7, chapter 4, we saw these are sevens. These sevens will do that work of unifying also those coming from outside the church, so that they believe the same as what the 144,000 are believing. But now what will come as a result of their work in verse 9? Let's go further to verse 9.
Verse 9.
Right?
After this I beheld,
Right.
and lo, a great multitude,
Right.
which no man could number.
Do you see what will come after they have worked into the whole world? Now instead, they are not only Sabbath keepers, they are joined by those coming from outside the house of God. But they are coming, when they are gathered, we're told by Sister White in AA chapter in Acts of the Apostle, page 591, that they are now standing on Mount Zion with Christ as a lamp, gathered to start a holy commission of what? Of gathering also those who are not in the house of God, so that they also believe the message of the 5 angels. So when they believe that message of the 5 angels, now we are a very big mustard seed, which said it grows higher than all the trees. We are now ready to be to be taken straight to heaven. God will not just come and take us straight to heaven, coming from different locations like this. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Go to the Bible and dig deeper. You're talking about people believing different things. They are all waiting for Christ, believing this one, believing that, this one being baptized with the smearing, this one in the water, this one believing another day, this one believing in 7, and they were all taken to heaven. What the hell of job is going to be in heaven to start to unify them from heaven? You understand? This unification process is done on earth. We walk with God on earth. It started on earth. That's why we have the incident of the kingdom, to unify all different faiths so that they believe the same. Of course, some will reject. We saw from the house of God, those who rejected went through the slaughter of Ezekiel 9. But in the Gentile world, those who reject, who will receive 666 for not accepting also these, they will also have the 7 last plagues. So what will happen to the saints? They will be all gathered in the kingdom, even from other denominations will be gathered in the kingdom. When they are gathered in the kingdom, those who are left in the Gentile world will have accepted the 666, and the 7 last plagues go to them. And at that time, in Egypt, when the plagues came, they were not coming to Goshen where the Israelites were. No, they were not. They were only going to those who were not in Goshen. So the same thing in the antitype. When the 7 last plagues come, those who are united in the kingdom will not receive a single plague. But those who have received 666, who are outside the kingdom, will receive the 7 last plagues. And when you say the 7 last plagues in Revelation 16, you see all of them, 7 of them. They are exactly the same as the plagues which were in Egypt. They are a copycat. They are a copycat, these 7 last plagues. So you understand, this unification system is the job of the Elijah who has been ordained according to Malachi chapter 4, verse 4 to 5. Brings a message. Somebody is coming with the message to unify the systems so that God, when he comes, he finds a people ready to be collected to heaven. So another chapter which we find, which is the same chapter with Revelation 14 of 144,000 standing on Mount Zion, is Obadiah. Go to Obadiah chapter, verse, go to one chapter, 21. Just go to Obadiah 21, yeah? 1 verse 21.
Verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
And saviors
Saviors.
shall come up on Mount Zion,
Right.
to judge the mount of Esau,
Do you see that?
and the kingdom shall be the Lord's.
So when they saviors, which are these saviors? The 144,000. When they come, because they've received these 3 seals, so they stand without any intercessor. So they are called saviors. They come where? To Mount Zion. You see, when we say the 144,000 are coming to Mount Zion with Christ, it's on earth. We are not talking about incidents in heaven yet. We are talking about incidents on earth. When they come and are standing on Mount Zion, they are ready to be empowered. They come as saviors. They are saviors. Read again that verse. So that place where they are standing on Mount Zion is where the kingdom is. Read. Yeah.
And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion,
Mm-hmm.
to judge the mount of Esau,
Right?
and the kingdom shall be the Lord's.
So what place is that? It's the kingdom. They are already with the Christ on Mount Zion in the kingdom. The 144,000, when they stand on Mount Zion, they are in the kingdom. What else do you want people the Bible to expose? We know they are now coming. They are called saviors, coming on Mount Zion, because we wanted to see who are these 144,000 on Mount Zion. We know the lamp is Christ, but who are these 144,000? And Obadiah calls them saviors. That's it. They are coming, and where are they stepping on? On the kingdom, on Mount Zion, where the kingdom is. Do you understand? And let's go to another chapter again, which tells about the same thing on Isaiah chapter 4. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 5.
Verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion, and upon her assemblies, a cloud and smoke by day.
So when they are in Mount Zion, and I told you they are now standing in as branches, because if you start from verse 1.
Verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man,
Right?
saying,
So in the very day when the kingdom is going to be established, 7 women, which is 7 is complete Christendom. 7 women is complete. Everyone who worship God there. So they will take hold of one woman and one man. What do they say? Uh-huh.
we'll eat our own apparel.
We will eat our own doctrines.
Our own bread,
we will
sorry.
read our own. We will. If you go in different, it's so obvious that people are different. Are not believing what is from the Bible. If it is from the Bible, they should be all uniting in one thing. But because they are so, separate and differing, it means they are eating their own bread. Because if the syllabus is one, they wouldn't be eating their own bread. So they will say, we will eat our own bread.
And wear our own apparel.
They have their holiness. They all address themselves as holy people. But they say the holiness they say they will have our own holiness, our own standard of holiness. Right?
Only let us be called by
But
thy name.
only what we know, what
take
we
away
want
our
is
reproach.
we want to call ourselves Christian churches. That's it. We want to be called by your name, to take away our reproach, so that people don't think we are in clubs or anything, so that they think we are worshiping. This is what the verse is saying. And that in the same day when there is a lot of differences here and there is there is people who are right. In verse 2, let's
In
see.
that day
In that very day,
shall the branch of the Lord
those
be
who are
beautiful
believing
and
in the
glorious.
new name, which is being sniffed, are the ones that are going to be glorious. And repeat that verse.
And in that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful
Right?
and glorious,
And glorious.
and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent
Right.
and comely for
Right.
them that are escaped of Israel.
Why? Because they've taken these 3 seals. The branch shall be beautiful. They are already using the new name of Christ. And from 1844, as we started intercession, as what Great Controversy chapter 4 and 5 has said, that this is the name of Christ when he started the work of intercession. Right? Those who have believed and taken this, you will never have these 3 seals without the name of Christ. You will really have that name because it's one of the seals. So there is no dodging that name. You will never enter the pearly gates dodging that name, because it's one of the seals for you to have a passport to be in the pearly gates. So how will you get in there without the name? Because Sister White saw those 3 names: God, New Jerusalem, and a glorious star, containing the name branch, Jesus' new name. And the only new name we have seen in the Bible is the name branch, which we have referred from Sister White's comments in Great Controversy 415, is the name of Christ as man's intercessor, which is started from 1844. So how will you evade that name and be found in the kingdom? How then are you going to do that? Now it says, in that name, when people are eating their own bread, but the branch shall be beautiful, in verse 4, right? In verse 2.
In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious,
Right?
and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and
These
comely.
are the only people that God is saying they are beautiful in the Bible. Glorious, because they've taken up his name. They are glorious in what?
And the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel.
They are excellent fruit, comely, they are at peace with God. This is what, and what?
And it shall come to pass
Yeah?
that he that is left in Zion and he that remaineth in Jerusalem
Right?
shall be called holy.
Right. After assuming those 3 seals, you will, with the 144,000, you will be holy in the kingdom when it is established. This is what the Bible is saying. And what?
Even everyone that is written among the living in Jerusalem.
Right?
When the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion,
Right?
and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning.
Now, you see, if you see in Revelation, you find in chapter 2, when you find it says to the church that you because you have received this new name, then God will wash away your sins. Why? The sins will be washed away because only in that 3rd phase, that's when you know how the double intercession of Christ is occurring. That's why you see people now taking bread and wine. They are at that last phase. While people are on there, they're saying, what is this? Why are they taking blood? Why are they taking bread and wine every day? Because they are at that phase. They'll be taking bread and wine according to how Christ is interceding. They understand the intercession in the Holy of Holies. And God says, in that day, they will be beautiful and glorious. And what does he do to those who are taking that blood, that bread and wine, which represent the blood of Christ, in verse 5? Isaiah chapter 5.
Verse 5.
Chapter 8.
And the Lord
Chapter 4, verse 5. Yeah.
Verse 5. And the Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion,
Right?
and upon her assemblies,
Right.
a cloud and smoke by day.
Right. That's what we go back to what it was when the Israelites came out of Egypt. What did they have? They had
cloud
a
and
cloud
smoke by
and
day.
smoke by day, and what?
And the shining of a flaming fire by night.
And fire by night.
For upon all the
What
glory
brings all that is the ceremonial system, is the system which God had given on Mount Sinai. It invited the presence of God. And because of these 3 seals, they've got that system. They've got that system in the people. And what does it mean? It means they've invited the presence of God. So what is there? A cloud by day and a fire by night. This is what it says, it create a hedge around their habitation. 1, in their homes. What hedge? We need the hedge. Look at all these diseases. We need the hedge. He is creating the hedge so that you do not be attacked by anything. Why? Because that's why he's saying the 144,000 will have a seal of immortality. This is the hedge that God will create around those who will take these 3 seals. That's why the 144,000 have a cloud by day and a cloud of pillar of fire by night. Now read on.
And the shining of a flaming fire by night.
Right.
For upon all glory shall be a defense.
Right. So they will be defended in full. That's why the seal of the 144,000, God has got to protect the 144,000 once they receive the seal. He protects. So what is this, that the hedge that he puts? We saw when God said to Cain after killing Abel, he was promised that I will put a mark on your forehead so that wherever you go, nobody will kill you. But what is it that he was putting? So we saw from the spirit of prophets that what he put was, he put guardian angels. So it means that the hedge that surrounds the... We saw Sister White in the shaking. When you read the letter, the last day events, it says, at the shaking, when people are shaken, some rejecting the message, some accepting the message. Those who accept the message, their angels double up. What? Their angels. Where are these angels doubling up coming from? They are coming from those who are rejecting the message. Those who reject, what are they rejecting? Even the guardian angels that are keeping them, they are taken off. And they are doubled to those who are receiving the message. That's the hedge. God is giving those who receive the 3 seals. Do you know? You don't need to pay any security or whatever. You need this hedge. The hedge is the 3 seals. Look at the Israelites. When they put 3 strokes of blood, they had a hedge. The angel went in and found the blood, never even went in. Bypassed. That was a Passover. Next, where there was no blood, they went in. Those 3 seals, they become a hedge that you place there. So God has a lot to put the hedge in our system for us to receive these 3 seals. He needs to put that hedge to encompass those people who are holding his sacred truth. His truth for the sealing of people. That's why the seal is the seal of immortality. Now we are enjoying this 3rd stage. This is the 3rd stage where we will receive the latter rain. But people are waiting for that day of Pentecost when you stand with Christ on Mount Zion. But you know what? Go to the field and find what the latter rain is. When it's time for the latter rain, it does not come in one day. It comes first in drops. Then people know that the rain that is raining these days is the rain which is called the latter rain for the harvest. Now, our latter rain does not just come from Mount Zion straight away and receive it and start speaking in tongues and start. No, the first rain which rains into our forehead is the rain of doctrine. So that's why we should be studying these messages, because what are we receiving? The latter rain. There are drops of latter rain coming to us, and then the final one we receive on the day of Pentecost. You understand? This is how we will continue, because it's a long lesson on the 3rd step of the establishment of the kingdom. But basically, we should know what it means. The 3rd stage of the establishment of the kingdom is the step where we are now going to receive the latter rain. That shows the kingdom now is going to be established. Only when we go to receive the latter rain, we will be in the kingdom. Like Obadiah says in 21, the saviors will go in the kingdom on Mount Zion. They will be in the kingdom. So those are the ones. standing with Christ on Mount Zion, because Christ is already in the kingdom at that time, to give the 144,000 these marching orders of going to unify the earth, take them to bring them to Christ, to enter into the kingdom. Will you be there? Because the Church of Christ, the house of God at that time, will have been destroyed by God. Those who don't have the seal. We saw it in Ezekiel 9. So the very exciting events which happens later, after the Ezekiel 9 destruction, is only for those who have received the seal. They are the ones who will be permitted now to go to the Gentile nations, to go and collect them to the kingdom, to unify them with the Church of God. Will you be there? I wish we all will be there. In the name of God, in the name of the branch, I pray.